local library.
Oh, okay, we're recording. Okay, so what'd you guys think?
I really enjoyed the book. I can see why that it's like a challenge book because it introduces like death, but it's not like solely surrounded. The story's not surrounded by it, which kind of had me wondering why it was a challenge book besides like that portion of the book.
Well, and it's funny because we read The Friends, which is surrounded by death, and that's not banned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
It says it's also banned because of references to witchcraft.
Well, I guess kind of Terabithia.
But I like how they reference The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and that's like on the top 100 lists to read books. So they're, they got similar concepts, similar, values, imagination. But as far as that would be banned, I don't. Yeah. But it did. I did like how the language seemed a little bit older for their age.
Yeah.
They're very articulate, well spoken. I liked how the little boy kept saying, Lord, this girl's gonna drive me crazy.
I know. I fell in love with these characters, and I don't know, I didn't see Terabithia so much as witchcraft as I did imagination.
Yeah.
Like,
same.
these kids, like, they walked into this place and they saw giant trolls and little fairy fighter warrior
things. That's what you were
things.
supposed to do when you were little. You were supposed to go and use your imagination, go find somewhere and play and entertain yourself. And
Exactly. And so that's why I had a hard time, like, deciding why this was a banned book. Because, it talks about death, but a lot of books do. So that's not a new concept. But the witchcraft thing that's kind of beyond me, because I see it more as a 10-year-old using their imagination.
Yeah, I think directly about it, so.
But that's too, maybe the parent-child relationship. Leslie, she was like very formal with her parents. She called them by their first names. That could be like an ethical thing. Well, kids are supposed to respect their parents. You're not on the same level as them.
Yeah.
Might give kids, I don't know, if they're talking about witchcraft, it might give kids an idea that, well, you're on the same level as your parents. So.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like another topic that is kind of, I guess, more towards like the banned area of why this might be is because that little girl character's name, she was beat up by her father.
Oh, Avery.
Yeah.
Janice Avery.
Could be, but even then, it wasn't even like it was throughout the entire book.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And you know what's, I don't know, because you figure, I have the book, I'm looking at it right now, and out of 13 chapters, the death doesn't show up until chapter 11.
Yeah.
It's a very, very small portion of it.
That, and remember when you're talking about, you're right, the bully, that little girl, I forgot her name, that the principal kind of allow it, the child abuse. Like, every father beats their kids. It's okay. You keep your personal problems at home.
Yeah.
You don't really rock the boat.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like, well, we don't want to encourage that if you're getting abused, you shouldn't say anything. In fact, they teach the opposite now. If you're getting abused or anything like that, you need to speak up.
Yeah.
I looked up some of the reasons it was banned, and the main one that like continually comes up is actually language and profanity. And they say that even the phrase "oh Lord" or "Lord" is bad. In 1986 they argued that.
That's kind of like in Charlotte's Web in Texas, that book is banned because characters, the animals are talking and it's talking to God, and it's like really for sensitive people and stuff like that.
They said that one too. That one I think was banned in Asia, right? Or was it in China?
What?
The talking animals. They don't want talking animals.
Alice in Wonderland,
animals, right?
yeah.
Which was one of those? I saw those on the list.
Alice in Wonderland was banned in China because animals should not have human language. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to me, again, it's all imagination. Like, you're taking it to an extreme here. I guarantee you that there are animals in kids' imaginations who talk to them.
Yeah, right.
Their stuffed animals talk to them. They have tea parties.
Yeah.
Hello, Andy.
I think he's on mute.
Oh,
we can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so glad you joined us.
Thank you.
So we were just talking about why we thought the book may have been banned. So
And we've come up with death, the way the relationship with the parents. There was supposed language that they got banned for that Cambria said.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So I don't know. You see little girls having tea parties with their Barbies and their stuffed animals, and to me, it's all imagination. I mean, how can at 10 years these kids are 10 years old?
And like I said, that's one thing, especially, so I'm a little older, that's what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to use your imagination. Go outside, play, build these magical forts, all these things. Like, that's just normal. And you're
Exactly.
right, to be, it's witchcraft, this is banned. I was watching one of the videos of one of our classmates posted, like, these kids see more in TV and everyday stuff than they are reading these books that are supposedly banned for these, terrible. Banned is a big word, not recommended, but this is banned. We don't want it.
Yeah.
It's a strong.
What was I was just thinking about a part in the book, and now I can't think of what I was gonna ask you guys. I can't remember.
Let's see what else.
Oh, you know what else I thought was weird? Was that he went on a trip with his teacher. Was that odd to you guys?
That was odd, huh? Calling them on the phone.
Right, at his house.
Ride.
And it's the teacher that he had a crush on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really
that
odd.
Was too. And the treatment of the mom, the parent, the dad, was kind of not around. He was very, cut and dry. He's always working. And the mom and the sisters kind of seemed to run a little wild. And he was just kind of by himself, kind of, neglected in a way.
When you're one boy and 4 girls, it's, and I guess
right.
if you put the book into, if you think about it in the time period that it's in, they had their chores and, the boy did most of those, and I don't know, I don't see it that way now.
Exactly. You want to ban something. I mean, guys ever watched I Love Lucy? You talk about roles. You should hear, I love that show, but you should hear some of the things they say, how they refer to women. You don't know anything, they don't know how to work. You just stay at home, don't do anything.
Exactly.
So you would think things like that would get banned the way it is now, then just the way normal families were functioning, especially back in the 50s, like you said, or during that time period.
Yeah.
I think with everything that we've come up with why we think it's banned, like I said, I still don't think it's enough for it to be banned. I think it's a really good book, and it's a good book for students to read, especially I think it's at a 5th grade reading level, or 4th grade. And
I think it's 5th grade, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the time that they're old enough to really, if it is about death, and that's the reason why that they don't want it in the classrooms. Well, talking about death really has no age requirement, and it's they could lose a pet, or they could lose a family member, and I think that's the age where some of those things start to come into question. And I think that this book would be good to use in a safe setting to talk with students if it's about death, and that's why it's banned.
Yeah, because it does happen. You hear it all the time. Yeah, we lose kids. Not long ago, a little girl got hit. Down the street, coming from school. So kids do lose friends, best friends at times. You're right. It's just part of life. So how do we ignore something and ban something as part of life? It's, it's just one book. If one book's going to change their whole perspective and mess them up for life, supposedly, then I don't think it's the book's fault. I think we have to look at the parents in that case.
Parents get a little overprotective.
Yeah.
No, but my son's in 5th grade, and I asked him, would you like to read this book? I think you should read this book. It's a good book. And I told him, something I learned in class. If it's won an award, you should read it. It won an award for a reason. We should read it.
Let's put this into perspective. The book The Friends also won an award.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I I was thinking about that, and when we were watching one of these videos, it talked about another book. I can't remember which one, and it was a Japanese book, and it said it was bad because it's strong use of language, and I thought that might have led to the Friends being it's a cultural difference. We tend to be a little soft and squishy as Americans, and not the whole rest of the world is totally different than us. We sometimes don't see that.
There are three reasons that they say the book is banned. That the book will be challenged to be read and be banned. One is the language.
Uh-huh.
I guess he mentions Lord a lot.
Yeah. A little bit.
Can you hear me okay?
Okay, now I can.
The third is the ending of the story.
Oh.
There are people, but there are people groups of people who will try to ban any book that does not, that their beliefs do not fall within. And it doesn't mean that it's a terrible book. It just means it doesn't coincide with their beliefs, and so they try to challenge it. But
then
I think you're right. It's a book that you read that every child should read, and I read it to my children when they were young. I love it.
It is. It's a really good book, and it's a great book. It highlights friendship too. We forget that. Why it's
so
banned for this, banned for that. It's an awesome story about this friendship of these two kids who really just, evolve. He takes so much from that girl Leslie, and it just really turns him into this, this new person from her.
And they both did.
That can kind of get overshadowed when all we're concentrating on is, well, why it's bad. Well, it's this, and that. But we're missing all the good parts of this book.
And I think the friendship is just so amazing because I think it really shows, like, kids make friends so quickly. Like, he was so mad at her for winning that race. But then what? Like, I mean, as far as the book is concerned, like, 6 pages later, they're, like, best friends. And I think we miss that in the, you're right. And it's banned because of this, because of this, because of this. But we're missing, like, these 10-year-olds had real love for each other. Like, and we're not talking like in love with each other, but they loved each other. And I think especially at the end, it shows how like he copes with her death.
Yeah.
It shows how kids at that age, how they take those situations and how they can handle them. And I think he handled it better than any adult would have.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And how he overcame that whole, well, your best friend's a girl.
Yeah.
His dad kind of was like, well, I don't know about that. He kind of ended up becoming a loner because he chose to kind of cut everyone off and just say, you know what? One of her is worth more than all you guys. I've got one good friend better than having 10, not so great friends. And how he kind of looked past that, and it didn't bother him. Like, I don't care. We're friends. She's amazing, and it doesn't matter what anybody else says.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even in the book, it's...
Yeah, exactly.
Things to each other.
Especially bullying the way it is nowadays. Exactly.
Even in the book, though, he says something about how having, like, a girlfriend isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Plus, the boys in this book were mean, so a girl was probably better for him anyway.
The girls were mean, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
But it didn't even talk about him having, like, many friends. Like, it didn't...
No.
It kind of went straight into this friendship with Leslie, and there was nothing in between.
Yeah, right. He was. It sounded like he was just a loner. All he was concentrating was being fast. I want to win. He didn't like the boys. He wanted to show them. He wanted to show them up. And like I said, you're right. One day he's mad at her. The next day, hey, you want to be my friend? Sure. Let's go play.
Yeah.
Just like this.
Yeah. I feel like in the beginning, he was like looking for this acceptance. Like, if I win the race, I'll be liked. My dad will be proud. And then towards the end, he kind of realized, like, he doesn't need that. He can be him. And that's a great thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he did. No matter what, anything was on his house, especially when it came to Leslie, he was doing his thing. He didn't care how many pancakes he ate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. And I like the part about them going to church on Easter Sunday. Because I just think it was so, like, that little girl, Maybelle, I'm so in love with her. I just think she's the cutest little thing. And it helps now because, like I said, I watched the movie after I read the book. And so I can kind of picture them now. And she's just the cutest little thing. And she's telling Leslie, but if you don't believe in the Bible, God's going to damn you to hell. And so, like, dead serious. And I'm thinking, like, that is, that's so, it's funny because that could be another reason people don't want the book. Like, no, God's not going to damn you to hell if you don't believe in the Bible, but you should. And it was such a short little piece, I almost felt like the chapter was out of place.
You know what? I did like, though, when she says, they're talking about when she's at church, and she never goes to church. She gets dressed up, and she goes, and afterwards she's telling them how much she enjoyed it, and they're telling her how much they don't like it, they're bored, and she tells them how funny. I've never heard it, and I think it's beautiful. You hear it all the time,
and you hate it,
and you're bored and don't like it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good observation for someone on that age level to say that.
Yeah, she definitely puts things, her character definitely puts things into perspective when you think about things like that. Cause,
her maturity.
Yeah. I don't know.
But, any other thoughts? Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm trying to, I really liked that they manifested their, not their friends, but like Janice Avery, the bully, they kind of manifested those people into Terabithia. And at the end, they're like cool with them, you know, like Leslie creates this friendship with Janice Avery, and suddenly the trolls aren't that bad anymore.
Yeah. I just think that, the reasons for its banning, but like, you can ban you can do anything. You can sue anybody, you can ban anything. As long as you complain to the right people, you can get a lot of things done. But I just think that it was just a great book that wasn't outrageous. It just touched on very normal things that happen in life, and you're right. Kids should start read about it, so it's not so far away, so scary. So I've never seen this. I've never been exposed to it. Now I'm freaking out. And
and you never really know when that stuff is gonna happen. So why not do it? And it's not even putting it in a gruesome way. It's not doing it in extremes. It's very
in a safe setting. Yeah.
So I think it's a good book to start discussions like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though like that tragic thing did happen, it's like I feel like they still ended it on a happy note with him bringing Mabel and building the bridge and all that. Mm-hmm. Even though it was tragic, they're still happy. So
he made it such a happy
place. So many good points to focus on.
Yeah. He made it such a happy place for Mabel. It was like, this horrible thing happened, but he took a chance to put that kind of imagination into his little sister, who adored him and wanted to be with him. So he made this place for her.
Yeah, she forgave him for he said he smacked her hard, and she fell.
I know.
So things like that makes me think that's why, they're condoning this boy hitting his sister, and it says in the book that he hit her quite hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was one of the differences in the movie. He didn't hit her in the movie, he pushed her. And I mean, not that that's better, but...
See? Right there, they're censoring it because if, it says hit, and...
Not that that's better, but it's just, it was a little bit different, but I don't know, I fell in love with these little kids. These kids, I like teaching adults something that we would never think. Taking something so great out of something so tragic. Like, he even said to his teacher, we should invite Leslie next time. I think she would like that. Mm-hmm. And my first thought was, she's not here anymore, but it's like he's got her with him all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's so sweet. Like, that made me cry. I'm like, it's like he's got her. It's, people always say, well, they're in your heart. And I feel like what he was saying during her service or whatever it was, I think he manifested that it's, they'll always be in your heart in such perfect words for a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I would like to use this book in a classroom, and I don't know, I just think different areas of the country, that people have a lot to do with. Well, it's technically banned, but it's not that bad.
Well, is it banned in a certain state, or is it banned in California to use that book?
I don't think so. Is it? I wouldn't think so.
No, it was some other states, and I'd have to check the dates. I don't know if it's still banned. This channel's been banned at different times, and so it may not be. And even if it is, and you want to use it, I would just maybe not say anything at first. Let the principal know, and then and the other teachers in your grade level have others, and then if parents do say something along the way, then I would talk to them about why you have it. Just have that support ready that you're going to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was written in 1977.
Okay.
And,
Oh.
over the years now, and I don't know when, I would have to look back and see when it was challenged, but I don't know if it's one of them major books.
I think I have the dates. It was challenged multiple times, starting in 1986, the first one, and all the way up to 2002, the last time.
Oh, it's pretty recent.
That is really recent.
Yeah,
Especially
right?
considering you said earlier, these kids are watching worse things on TV and in their movies and their video games. I mean,
and just hearing out in public, not even the video, just
I know.
watching people.
I know.
It's so much that the parents can't control that in the classroom. They can control it on TV, supposedly. They can control it out in the real world by pulling their child away from whatever they're seeing or whatever. But when a teacher asks them to do it in the classroom, it's harder, and that's when they start to challenge because they feel like they've lost control. Sometimes you offer an option. So maybe if a parent does challenge you with it, you can offer another book that they could read instead.
Yeah.
Granted, reading it out loud is read it out loud, you might have a difficulty, but if you're reading it in small groups or whatever, you might be able to offer some choices there. The parents feel that they have some control over their child. You know that child's going to read that book behind their back anyway, because when they find out that their parent challenged it or that their parent had an interest in them not reading it at all.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They do what you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to do that. Well, now I do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right
well,
then.
Anything else?
No, I
If you
think
have nothing else in the book, can I take a couple of minutes just to see if you have questions from me about the course or about anything at all?